welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but you know, I'm hoping to upload some more videos a bit more regularly. But as you're probably aware, I don't have many cars and I'm still in the same car. I've still got the Corsa, so I haven't even sold it. I've just been using it because it's got heated seats and whatnot. So I've been using it throughout the winter, and it's only February, but I've had it too long and I really need to get rid of it. I have to free up some funds to buy more cars. But anyway, the video today is me showing you the car complete. I'm not really going to do a walk around or anything, so I've already done all that, but I need to go somewhere in a minute, so we're going to drive. I've been having an issue with the car that I previously mentioned, that I thought that the timing chain was rattling a bit, so I've been looking at maybe getting it fixed, and I've had some quotes for like 350 quid. I probably could do it myself, but I'm not sure if I'm confident enough. Don't fancy that. Plus the weather's really nasty outside at the moment with all the storms, and it just doesn't stop raining for days. In fact, it's not raining presently, but it's going to, and my weather app's saying it's going to rain all day, and I need to go and do some shopping in a local town in a minute, which is miles away. And I'm sure I'm going to get pissed down on. But anyway, so one of the things I noticed that was the chain was rattling, and like on my conclusion, I just thought it was just a chain. Perhaps it maybe still is, but I did notice one thing, that the expansion water tank was really low. So a couple of weeks ago I did notice that, and I went to try and take the cap off, and the cap came off, but the inner side of the cap which is the pressure relief part, stayed in there. Now I've had that happen on a couple of cars before, mainly Fiestas, where you just change the cap and obviously you're okay. But anyway, I got the cap out and filled it back up with water, and then obviously the cars ran down on water a bit more, or gone a bit lower than I thought. So I went to try and take the cap off again, and it just wouldn't come out, so I had to mangle it and try and get it out with a screwdriver, bearing in mind not to ruin the threads. But I was getting to the point where I was ruining the threads, so I went online to look for a new cap, and I just couldn't find the right cap. I didn't no, I went online to have a look for a new cap, and they were like in between 15 and 20 quid. The cheapest one I found was 15 quid off Auto Dock, but they wanted like £5 delivery. I mean, it was a genuine cap. I did find pattern caps, but you know, you don't want to buy a pattern cap, do you, just in case? So I bought a whole new expansion tank, which worked out loads cheaper. The whole expansion tank with delivery was 12 quid. It was a little bit ratty when I got it. It obviously had some coolant in there a long time, so I've given it a bit of a clean. But also I noticed a couple of days ago that when I'm in the car there was no heat, or the heat that was coming through the vents was little, or you turn the dial and it would just give up. So obviously I come to the conclusion that the car had no water. So I put a new expansion tank on yesterday, and started topping it up, and I was shocked at how little water I had in the car. That is not something I would normally do, run a car that low, but I was waiting for the tank. I didn't necessarily have to drive this car. I drove it sparingly. I don't drive it that far, so I've got my bath, which I use anyway. But yeah, so I changed the expansion tank, and I'm shocked at how much water it took, and the rattling noise, it seems to have calmed down. So I can only conclude that lack of water equals noisier. Maybe the water pump, I don't know. But this is, I haven't started this morning, so I'm in it. So it's from cold, and that was when I had the most rattly noise, which, to be fair, a Corsa is known for a rattly timing chain. Obviously the oil doesn't get up to the top, and for the few seconds you get like a ch-ch-ch-ch. It's really common, but obviously I'm hoping that I don't have to do that. I don't have a service record for the timing chain being done, but equally it's not due one yet, but you know. So and also before I'll go onto the bonnet and show you, but it's just an expansion tank. It's really not that exciting. But I noticed one of my daytime running lights was out, and I took the bulb out to get the I took the bulb out the back of the daytime running light, and this stupid thing fell down in the wing. Right behind the part where you pull the bulb out, there's a little hole. I mean, it literally took seconds for me to lose grip of that, and it went ching. So you missed all that, where I had to take the wing, not the wing, so I had to remove most of the front of the bumper to get the light out, the headlight, and then to be able to get my hand down there and get it out. But what a faff. And then the bulb was a favour. I mean, a £5 for that. I mean, it is a double filament. Obviously, it houses the daytime running light and the side lights. But yeah, what a bloody faff. So this is just going to be a quick video, really. I'm just going to talk nonsense, which I've just done, and then drive around a bit. I'm using my phone today, which I never use. I always use camera gear, but I think I've got a decent phone. Why don't I use my phone now again? And then I can upload a bit more regularly. Hopefully the audio's okay. Probably won't be in a second when we get out, but yeah, we'll have a go. But anyway, I just want to show you the expansion tank. I don't know why. I mean, what's the point? It's just an expansion tank. It's just plastic, isn't it? But there you go. But yeah, I do want to start the engine with this running so you can actually hear it. Hopefully it's not making a noise. Trying not to hold this bulb here. I've done my best so far not to hold it. You know, oils and all that. It goes on the bulb. Anyway, let me show you. Right, hopefully it isn't too windy, but it is an iPhone, so it's not too bad at stopping the wind. But that was the tank. It's slightly bigger than the old one. But I'm just making sure that it doesn't leak there, because it was leaking a bit, but I suppose once the pressure builds up, it's not so bad. Right, you can see the hole there. Let's put the bulb in. And then right behind it there is the hole it fell through. So we'll put that in there. Hopefully it won't fall through again. Oh, there we go, we're in. Need the key now. Let's hopefully, well, you can see that it's got nice pink water in. This was a lot dirtier when I got it. It was like yellow, but all for that cap. At least that one comes off. Let's just see if the daytime running lights are actually working. Oh, maybe I need the engine on. But anyway, let's listen to the noise. Oh, that's so much more better. That literally just sounds like a normal engine. Oh no, a slight tap, but not as bad as it was. I can hear the injectors. Oh, I'm super happy with that. It was so rattly on startup. The bulb works. Yeah, loads better. And the bulbs are alright. That one's brighter than the other one though. Maybe we'll have to put the other bulb in. I did buy a pack of 2. Sorry, yeah, I don't know what I'm on about earlier, but it was £5 for 2, not for 1. So maybe I'll do that. You can hear a slight rattle. But you know, it is cold. Hopefully there's no leak from there. It really does sound so much more better. I'm so happy. It's great. So I'm going to shoot off, I suppose, and do a bit of random filming as we drive along. And I'm happy the daytime running light's working. Though the car didn't complain of a daytime running light. It's also not an MOT failure, even though cars have had daytime running lights since well, most cars had them since 2008. A lot of cars, I mean my 2003 BMW had daytime running lights, but yeah, majority of cars got them by then. And they're not MOT advisory, no, what's the word we're looking for? So from 2018 onwards, the MOT requires that all daytime running lights work. So if you have got one out and your car is pre 2018, come on mate, we just sat in a bloody petrol station. Hang on, can't concentrate. But yeah, so if your car is pre-2018, you don't have to have a working daytime running light, which is good. So obviously when this car went for its MOT, it passed with just one daytime running light in it. I'm guessing now that the heating will be hotter. Oh look, it's hot already, shocking. I mean, I suppose it's obvious really, isn't it? that if your car's got no water in it, then no water's passing over the heater matrix, and you're getting no hot. But I was getting to the point where I was just being a bit thick, and I thought, what is the matter with this car? I thought it's not had major problems with it, but it's just things after another, you know, like it just bugs you and annoys you, and you think, oh, the last thing I want is the heater matrix to pack up, because I certainly wouldn't be fixing it. I just sell it on, well, sell it in the summer, don't you? No one needs the heat in the summer. No, I just have to tell people that, you know, I thought it was temperamental. Surprisingly, I'm not that, actually in this car, it's not that bothering to not have the heat on, because it has got heated seats and a steering wheel, and that really makes a difference. But like most mornings when I get in here, I don't ever put the heating on, unless you got a bit of steam, but then I put the AC on for that. But yeah, if you've got heated seats and a steering wheel, that's all you need to warm up, is your hands and your ass when you're getting in the car. And then, you know, cold air blowing on you first thing is not nice in the morning. And we've had some chilly mornings. I don't know where you are in the country, but where I am, it's been proper chilly, and equally cold and windy like everybody else. I think everyone's had a bit of the old the wind, etc. over the last couple of days. So this storm Eunice, and I think it was Dudley, the other one. But yeah, not that I suffered from it. Oh no, well, I did at work. Had a few fence panels over, but not too bad where you are. I think we only got up to 60 mile an hour winds max where we are, so it wasn't too bad. But anyway, enough of that. But anyway, I hope everybody was fine with that, and they didn't suffer too much. I know some people did, but I'd like to think that people watching me didn't suffer too much. So anyway, the car is running fine. The heater's working. My bum is hot. My hands are hot. Those annoying wipers, they're just the most atrocious wipers ever. They clear the windscreen beautifully, but they make the usual well, you can hear it. Oh, what a noise. Such a beautiful noise. I don't really have much more to say on this car other than I don't like it. I really don't like it. I've not liked it since I've had it. It's so slow. It's a 1.2 75 horsepower engine. It's not economical, I don't think. This car is no more economical than my Abarth, which is a 1400 turbo and is sporty. This is a 1.2 petrol with no go in it whatsoever. It's certainly not economical. I don't feel the amount of petrol I'm putting in this is equal to what I'm putting in my Abarth, and my Abarth is not driven heavily, but obviously when you've got a turbo you use it more. But then equally on a cheap car like this, people think, oh, it's a 1.2, so it must be economical, when it's not, because you have to put your foot down and change gear more often to get power out of it. You could never overtake in this car. I wouldn't risk my life overtaking in this car. And this is a second Corsa I've had. I brought practically a brand new Corsa last year, and I drove it. It was a Corsa limited edition, and it was nice. I liked it because it was a good looking car, nice colour, nice body kit. I got in the thing and it was awful. I drove it. I should have test drove it, but I never. And then I still brought it stupidly, as you do, because it looked nice and you know, you can't wait. And I had it a month, and I took it back to the dealership, and he said, "Why have you brought it back for?" I said, "No, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't like it. I just couldn't drive it. It's evil." And cut a long story short, within 1 month I lost £2,000 because the dealer brought it back for £2,000 less than I paid for it. And the next day he put it back on his dealer forecourt. I mean, I know I had to take a loss, because you know I put a name on the logbook, and I probably drove about 200 miles in it, if anything. So I know that I have to appreciate that. But he put it back on the forecourt for £100 more than I paid for it. So not only did he get his £2,000 back, he got another £100, and I lost out, which is really shit, really. But those are the joys when you buy a car from a dealer. But he did give me a better deal on a Mercedes I brought straight after, so it wasn't too bad. Because I was spending like £5,000 more on the next car, he did really a good deal on the Mercedes. But yeah, so anyway, I'm selling this car. I've lost the service pack. Annoyingly, I've got everything in there. Loads of receipts for the work I've done. A new exhaust. Obviously, I haven't got receipts for the things I've done, like plastics and stuff. There's no point putting them in. People don't put receipts in for bits of plastic trim they've done. But you know, the tyres, servicing, things like that. I've put all that in there, and there's a service book in there. Funny enough, this car came with 2 service books, one that was full up and one that was empty. Now I can find the one that's empty, I can't find the one that came with it. I'm beginning to think I didn't even have one with it, but I remember having one. But I have that many cars, I have like a box in the house where all my service stuff is in, and I take them out the car and put them in the box. And I distinctly remember having a service book with this car. But equally at the same time, I have that spare book which is empty. And am I thinking to myself, did I see that and just imagine that I looked through it? I can't remember. But I have no service history of this car, and it's really frustrating. Because as we all know, when we're selling a car with no service history, it's a haggling bargain. It's also, it doesn't show the car that's obviously been maintained, even though it has. But I'm going to go for 2 options there. I'm going to ring up Vauxhall and see if they've got any history. Also, with this car, I've got the supplying dealer's details, so obviously the name and number is on the number plates. It's also on the spare key, and it's also, the supplying dealer is also in the book pack. I think it was in Elsham. The car's only had 3 owners, so it's not gone through that many owners. But I don't know if the last supplying dealer was the first owner or they had it used. But anyway, equally, hopefully they'll be able to send me something over. Hopefully they do. Not all do. A lot of people use the old data protection act crap now. I mean, just for argument's sake, not argument's sake, but just to illustrate, when I brought my Abarth, I got all the service pack with it because it was fully serviced, 1 owner. And all the previous owners' details were all blanked out. And when I inquired about why that was, the guy told me at the dealer that it's Data Protection Act. We're not allowed to give you the previous details of the previous owner, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, it's not like I'm going to contact them, but I mean, why would you blank out names and addresses? It's just the way it is. You always have names and addresses on things. I mean, I in my lifetime of owning cars, I've had several companies contact me and ask me for information regarding cars. Twice I've had DVLA write to me and want to know about the history of a car I've owned from 5 or 6 years ago. In fact, I owned a Rover 25 back in the early 2000s, which was nearly new. And only it wasn't last year, it was the year before, because we were in 22. So yeah, in 2020, I got contacted by the DVLA to ask me if I've owned this car previously, which I had, and they knew. And they wanted to ask me if I remember what the mileage on the car was when I owned it, because there's a mileage discrepancy on it, and I think someone's trying to flog it with, what's going on this road? It's all weird. Someone's trying to flog it with dodgy mileage, and I'm thinking, wow, that Rover I had so long ago, it's got to be 20 odd years old. But I did write back to them, and I did confirm the mileage, and I actually sent them a picture because I had a picture of the car when I sold it with the mileage, so that was handy for them. But yeah, twice I've been contacted by that, so it is, I think, a thing to have in the service book, previous details. But maybe that's just a dealership I went with. I don't think they all do it. I don't know. I do know that certain dealerships won't forward details on, and others are quite happy just to send you everything they own. But there you go. Anyway, I'm going on here, waffling on as you do. I've got 2 seat repairs to do in this car, so I'm going to do a video on that. And then whatever pops along, so whenever I get a car in, I'll do some videos. Obviously I've been a bit lapsy daisy, but I don't have the privilege of a garage like some YouTubers, and this isn't my job, YouTubing. I mean, if it was my job, that'd be different, but I don't make money from YouTube. I don't need to make money from YouTube, so this is just my hobby, and I do it willy-nilly, as and when. I don't have to pretend to be anything I'm not, and I don't need sponsors, etc. So there you go. Enough of my talking nonsense. I will see you in the next video, and thank you for watching. I'm going to pull over now and turn my phone off, because I wouldn't want anyone to think that I'm using my phone when I'm driving. Bye bye.